welcome to the AGN King YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be giving you my top 10 favorite MCU movies of all time. Now, before we get started, I'm going to tell you some rules. Number one is that this is my opinion, so if you find something you really disagree with, you can share your ranking, I guess, in the comments. But there's going to be a lot of hot takes, I don't know, but a lot of people would disagree with my top 10. So, and rule number two, just because it's last place on here doesn't mean it's a bad movie whatsoever. It means it's the 10th best movie. And there's 30 movies. 34. Guardians of the Galaxy good. Volume 3. Let's get into this video. Number 10. Now, this movie is... I'll explain why I like it. I don't know. Every time I watch a Marvel movie in the theater, the first time, it's kind of underwhelming. I don't know why. I love watching movies in theaters, but I never really like it that first time. Then I watch it the second time when it comes on Disney Plus, or I get it, and it's always better. That was like with this movie. I did really like it when I first watched it. Now, every time I watch it, it gets up, and it's got into 10th place. So, that's really good, and I love this movie. And I do think they should have killed off a character, but I'm happy with the way it ended, because they did really finish it off good. And I'm excited to see Star-Lord and everyone else again, hopefully. So, let's move on to number 9. Number 9 will shock you all. It's Avengers Endgame. Now, the reason why I have this kind of low on the list is I would say it's a little long in different area. Like, the final battle of this movie is amazing, but that's the... Every time I watch this movie, I feel like everyone does it. They always skip it to the last hour. Not because the first part is bad, but it is a 3-hour movie. And I don't have time to sit down and watch a 3-hour movie. So, I just skip it to the final battle. Just like No Way Home, which is on the list. But I don't really like the beginning that much. And I do think that does have some plot holes. But I'm not a reviewer, so I'm not going to get into those. But it's still an amazing movie. So let's go to number 8. Number 8 on my list is Eternals. This is probably... Okay. I don't get why people dislike Eternals. When I first watched it, I loved it, and I still love it. Now, I'm not saying the characters are pretty bland. Icarus is really cool, but all the other ones, except maybe Druig and, I can't remember, Kingo, all the other ones are meh. But I just like how it kind of stepped up. Like, it's different, and I don't get why people hate it. I personally think it's one of the best Marvel movies, and it's number 8. So, let's go to number 7. Number 7. Number 7 for me is going to be Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I just really like this movie. Okay, so I will say it's like Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't watch this movie in theaters. I wasn't, really big into Marvel. Then I was big in it, but I never was really rushing out to see it. Then I watched it at home, but it was 10 o'clock at night, and I was kind of half falling asleep, half watching it. And when I ended it, the movie, it was 12. So then I was it was really boring. Then I watched it the second day because I didn't remember it at all, and I really liked it. And it went up there on the list. I definitely want to see Shang-Chi join the Avengers whenever they're coming, and I do really think he's an amazing character, and the villain is super cool. The only person that I kind of didn't like is, I don't remember her name. What that? Katie. I think that's her name. I mean, she's okay, but I don't really like the comedic reliefs. Like, I'm not. A lot of people hate the comedy in Marvel. I don't hate it. I just think it's not really funny. And she kind of did ruin one of the moments, but I don't really care. I don't hate the movie because of it. I actually really love this movie. So that's why it's up here. And the final battle, I wasn't expecting it, but it was still pretty good. And the CGI is a little wonky, but I don't really care. It's just, I really love the movie. Number 6. This is when it kind of gets tricky. Is Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I know you guys probably think I have faithful recency bias, but I never really, I love, Black Panther was never really, like, my favorite MCU character. Like, I do think a lot of people are saying that because Chadwick Boseman did pass away. I never really heard people saying Black Panther was their favorite Marvel character or saying he was that good. He was really good, but I never really heard, like, praise for Black Panther when he didn't pass away. But then when he passed away, now everyone just remembers him as, like, the best Marvel character. And I think that's a little untrue. He is still amazing, but he didn't really give me, like, I didn't hate him, but I only liked him because he was on Team Tony and Civil War, which we will get to. But I don't know, I never really liked him. But this movie, I didn't really get that sad during the movie. I'm not that, I don't really get sad during movies, but I do think they kind of should have made it a little sadder. But I still love this movie, and I don't get why, like, when it first came out, everyone loved it. Now they just look down to it like it's a bad Marvel movie, and there's nothing bad in it. And Namor is so cool, and CGI on him is a little wonky sometimes, but I don't really care about CGI in movies. Number 5 is Iron Man 3. Okay, so sorry. I don't get the hate with this movie. So, I will say the Mandarin thing is a little stupid, but I don't read comics. I wish I did, but I just watch the movies. So, I never really knew who the Mandarin was. So, I wasn't like, when I first watched it, I wasn't, oh man, they ruined the character. I didn't really know who he was. I didn't really care. But I guess I could see how it was disappointing for some people. But the villains are trash in this movie. I'll just say that. That's not what makes this movie good at all. What makes it good is Iron Man. Iron Man in every movie is just amazing. And I do think he's a little overrated. But, again, he is still amazing in the movies. And I don't know what else to say. Like, this movie, the best thing about it is when Tony, it's like he's not with a suit. Because everyone was saying, like, oh, Tony's nothing without his suit. And I thought that was so not true. Like, I like how they showed him without his suit in the movie. And I just really like the movie. Every time I watch it, I think it gets better. So, let's go to number 4. 4 is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, I know a lot of people hate this movie, but I don't get it. Now, I will say one negative thing. I don't think Doctor Strange was that good in this movie. It's not because he wasn't good. It's because Wanda was a little too strong. Like, I think Doctor Strange could have easily defeated her with something. Like, sent her somewhere else. But he's always just used, like, weird creatures. I don't know what they did with his powers from Infinity War. But that's the only... I love this movie. I like John Krasinski, if I said that right, as Mr. Fantastic. I like Black Bolt. I like Captain Carter was okay. I didn't like Captain Marvel. I thought she was a little too, like, she thought the team was a little too powerful. But I do think Wanda should have, like, really died. Like, hopefully she did. But obviously, they're not killing her off just like that. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I really like this movie. Now let's go to number 3. Number 3 will shock you, and it's actually, I guess it won't. Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, like I said with Endgame, I skipped to, like, the last hour of this movie. Not because the beginning stuff was bad, it's because the, last hour is so good. Like, I don't want to sit through, like, the beginning hour just to get to the last hour. I just like to watch the good parts of movies. Like, again, not to say that part was bad. I don't know. I guess I don't have a big attention span for movies. I like to skip to the final battle sometimes, like, after, like, 4 times of watching it. So, yeah, that's really all. I really like this movie, and I thought it was so cool bringing Tom, Toby, and Andrew together. I will say one thing, though. I think Toby and Andrew shouldn't have been in this movie. Now, I definitely think they should show up somewhere else in the MCU, but it's kind of, they take away the Tom Holland spotlight in it. And I don't get it. Everyone used to say Tom Holland was the best Spider-Man. Now they just don't like him. And I definitely think he's the best Spider-Man. But I don't get why people don't like him. So, let's go to number 2. Number 2 for me is Captain America Civil War. Okay. Now, I don't know what side you're on, Cap or Iron Man, but I'm obviously on Captain America, and I hate Black Widow after what she did in the end. I don't hate her. I never really liked Black Widow, but then I was like, come on. I didn't like Captain America in that movie. I started liking him after that movie. I never really liked him before that, but I started re-liking him in Infinity War and Endgame. But I will say, I don't like any of the people on Captain America's team in it. Hawkeye I really used to like Hawkeye. Now he's just like, I don't get what I definitely think Wanda should have went in prison. Like, she killed a lot of people, and they were just acting like that didn't happen. So, but everything else about this movie I love. The final battle is crazy. That's actually my favorite part, not the airport fight, the battle between Cap and Iron Man. So yeah, that's pretty much all for number 2. Number 1 is obvious. Number 1 is Avengers Infinity War. Now, this movie is insane. I used to have a poster of it, but now I switched it out with Guardians, Across the Spider-Verse, Eternals, and Wakanda Forever because the poster ripped. Now, the best part of this movie is, like, just the characters interacting. And when Thor entered Wakanda, one of the best parts in the MCU. Now, I would say that I think Thanos is overrated. I don't think he really did anything that established him as the best villain in Marvel. But I still love everything about this movie. It will probably forever be my favorite Marvel movie ever. Because I'm not really the biggest fan of just cameos. I like when characters are actually there for the story, like Infinity War, because I don't think Secret Wars will pass it because it's just probably going to be cameos. And yeah, I don't really like that much, but this movie is insane, and I definitely think you guys should go watch it if you're not, because this is the peak of the MCU. When this movie came out, I was like kind of young, like actually really young, but I still loved this movie then. I know I got sad when Spider-Man died. I think I thought he died for good, but now looking back at it, obviously they weren't going to kill those characters. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video if you did, and it was really hard to remember my top 10, but I love all those movies. And next Saturday, I'll show you my top 10 worst MCU movies. And that's probably going to have a lot of hot takes too. So see you guys next time on AGN King YouTube channel. Bye.